What's up, YouTube? Back again with another video. I thought I would never ever say that. I feel like it's just the easiest thing to say ever when you're, back again with another video. But the reason why I'm making this video specifically is because of these GameCube controllers. So these two GameCube controllers on top here are the PowerA wireless GameCube-Style controller, and we have the PowerA strictly wired GameCube controller, and this is also specifically for Switch. It has a USB plug, not a GameCube plug. But I want to talk about these controllers, and I'm going to unbox the EvoRetro GameCube bundle because I couldn't find an extensive review or first impressions video online about it. So there were a few, but they didn't really go into detail as much as I would have liked. So I'm going to go into detail about them myself and things that I noticed about these controllers, and these are the ones that I use to play Smash right now, and compare it to an original GameCube controller. Now my original GameCube controller is a splice between a black controller and a silver controller. I had two controllers from a friend that they weren't using, and I just kind of split them up because both of them were bad in some way, and I just took the best parts from each controller, and then I took the shells and I made a split controller, silver and black. So that's what this controller is. But for all intents and purposes, it is an original GameCube controller, right? So the feel of it and the functionality of it is GameCube. So I want to talk about that, and then we're going to get into the EvoRetro controllers because I have not felt or seen these in person yet. I just got them from Amazon today. So let's get started. First of all, what I want to talk about with these is this is the first controller, the wire controller, that I started playing Smash with. And when I first got it, I had a few issues with this controller. Now, some people might not have the same problem that I have. I don't think it's bad. So when I first unboxed this controller, I noticed that it was very, very, very light. It feels like there's absolutely nothing inside this controller. It is very light and feels very hollow, and I don't like that. I mean, it's already a third-party, knockoff controller. PowerA does, make fairly good controllers. They make cheap controllers, but I think, their stuff is okay. In some instances, there's maybe one or two of their controllers I've purchased before that I didn't like, and I felt they could do it better. This GameCube controller, it feels great. The one thing I didn't like about it that really felt cheap was that the thumbstick, I felt like you could twist it back and forth a little bit, and I did not like that because when I was playing it, you could feel it turning. So what I did was I made a few mods to this controller. What I did was I super glued the thumbstick to the stem of the joystick box, which normally you probably wouldn't want to do with your good controllers, in case you have to replace the joystick cap, or you want to put a different joystick cap on there. But no, I super glued it to the stem. Now when I did that, I did have a problem when I started playing with it immediately afterwards. I put a little dab of super glue in the joystick cap hole, and then I pressed it onto the stem, and I think a little bit of the super glue got down onto the stick box, and I started playing with it before it dried. And when I would dash to the right, my character would immediately start dashing back to the left, and so I was getting stick drift, and I caused it. I started to, you know, pull on it, and I went up underneath there and I took like a tiny screwdriver and I scraped off some of the excess glue around the stem, and then, you know, I, you know, blew that out of there, and I started to pull on it a little bit to make sure it was, you know, out as far as it could go. I tried to pull it off, but I couldn't, and I didn't want to break it. So I just kept, you know, I, you know, swirled it around a little bit. I tried to like loosen it up, make sure that, because it wasn't like it was sticking with super glue, like it was really stuck or anything. It felt normal, but it just that it would always just dash that way, even though it seemed like it was standing straight up. So eventually that same night, it stopped, but that was after I ran to Target looking for another GameCube PowerA controller and couldn't find one. Came back home, put the controller back together, put all the motherboard and stuff back in it, and, you know, I sat there, messed with it in training mode for a little while, and eventually it stopped. So it works now. So, you know, I don't have that issue. So this is the wired one. Those are the two issues that I had with the PowerA wired controller. Otherwise, the weight was the only problem, and the fact that this joystick twist that it had, that it felt like it was loose, and I just basically super glued it to tighten it up, and now it feels great. Also, you know, people might want to know that these are not analog triggers, and these triggers actually push in deeper than the wireless version of the PowerA controller. So these go deeper in, and I'm assuming they did that because they want it to feel like an authentic GameCube controller feel. So, you know, people are used to pushing in those, you know, things. But for games like Melee, and if you use this for like a Dolphin emulator or whatever, you don't get the analog inputs. Like when you press it in a little bit, that does nothing, absolutely nothing. It doesn't do anything until you press it all the way in. So it's just for the old school feel of the triggers, and they do definitely feel like GameCube style triggers. They have the travel, and then they click in at the end. They feel like that. They don't just travel and stop. There is definitely a click there. So if you know, worried about that not being there, that is definitely there. Those are the only issues I've had with this. All right, so there's one thing I wanted to say about the wired controller, the PowerA controller, that I did not say in the video, and it's about the detachable cable, right? So the detachable cable is a micro USB cable, and it has a recessed port on the controller so that this specific shape fits in here, and there also is a little divot in the plug here that fits in with the divot that's inside this hole. So you have to put it in, you know, specifically this way, of course, because it's micro USB, but it fits in there, and it's good so that it does not, you know, mess up your plug. That's a plus. But the negative of this is that if you lose this cable, you may not be able to use this controller unless you get another specific plug. So basically, the plastic shape that goes in here makes this a proprietary cable specifically for this controller. So just remember that if you get this controller, take very good care of this cable, because if you lose this cable or break this cable, you're probably going to have to get a whole new controller, just because this cable, you know, no other cable can fit in here. So, you know, just keep that in mind. All right, back to the video. And oh, the weight problem. I fixed the weight problem by actually putting weights inside the controller. So I unscrewed the controller, I took the back off, and I took some of the weights that I had from one of my other Pro controllers that they have those weights. I think it was my Nakon Revolution weights that it came with. I basically took all the weights that it came with, and I wrapped them in some like sticky Velcro to make sure they don't wobble around. And I just put some weights in here, put weights in here, and then I put some weights in the back where the rumble motor usually would be for a GameCube controller. So it gives it a little more weight to it, since it doesn't actually have batteries or anything else to give it any weight. Now it feels like a more solid controller to me. So I fixed the joystick problem, and I fixed the weight problem, and I think this is a really good controller if you want to, you know, get a GameCube controller really quick for, you know, just playing Smash or whatever. I'm not sure about tournament play. I don't know how people feel about it in tournament play. I don't play in tournament. I'm not super good at Smash. I just like playing Smash, and I am a competitive player, so I do want to make sure my controller is good for what I'm using it for. Okay, that's it for the wired version of the PowerA controller, and now we have the wireless version of the PowerA GameCube controller. Pretty much everything is the same about this controller. It feels exactly the same. The only differences between this controller and the wired version of the controller is that this is obviously wireless. There's a sync button at the top. There's absolutely no USB port on this, so you can't, it's not rechargeable. You have to put AA batteries in it. That's probably the one downside of the wireless controller. You have to put AA batteries in it. But if you get like a big pack of AA batteries from Amazon or something that I have like down in a drawer, it does come with 2 AA batteries to start you off with. They're like Duracell OEM batteries they come with. You can't use this as a wired controller since it has no USB port. When I got this, the joystick did not feel like the other one felt, where you could twist it. This one is solid. It feels just like the one that I super glued to the stem of that controller, and you know, it's good. These don't press in as deep, maybe a third of the travel distance of the because this is how far this one goes, and this is how far this one goes. So if you put them together, you can see that this one doesn't go nearly as far as this one goes in. That's the other difference. It does feel, you know, it doesn't feel as, you know, authentic as a GameCube controller, but that is a difference if that matters to you, that these do not travel as deep as the other ones. Seeing as they don't have any analog input, these are better they're better if you know, for response time and stuff, but as far as, you know, the travel distance, it's, you know, not as far. All right, so now we get to the Retro Evo unboxing. This is probably the longest video about GameCube controllers, about knockoff GameCube controllers that are going to be online. I don't know, maybe, hopefully it's the most informational one. So this is, we're popping open this box for the first time, and I have seen the controllers and I've seen this box online before, but as I said, I don't feel like there was enough input or, you know, detail about, you know, what was in this box. So here's the GameCube adapter that it comes with, that is for your Switch, Wii U, or PC, so you can use your GameCube controllers with this. So I'm gonna also try my original GameCube controller with this. I'm sure it will work. I'm gonna try that out later. I'm gonna take that out of the box later. Let's see what else is in here. We got an EvoRetro sticker. The level up, you've just advanced to the next level. Every review means a lot to us. Please take a minute to leave us a review. I guess I'll go do that. This is the level up thing. Okay, so now we have the extension cables. These are the extension cables for the controllers. So if you need a longer cable, there are 4 in here for the 4 controllers that they give you. This was a $62 bundle that you get 4 controllers and an adapter and extension cords with. So as long as these controllers are good, I think that this is a very good deal. So here we have the black controller, we have the indigo controller, we have the silver controller here, and finally, or last but not least, we have this controller. This is part of the reason why I wanted to buy this bundle so bad, because they don't have this color by itself at all, and I think this color is dope, and I hope this controller is good, because I really want to use this controller. And what I'm gonna do is, I haven't decided yet. I'm gonna take one of these controllers and I'm gonna split it. Maybe the indigo, but I was thinking about the black, right? To make a custom shell controller where I just basically like I did with my original GameCube controller, where I split the shells and had them half and half. I might take that and split these shells and put one on the back of the other, so I have an original, not original, but like an original controller, as in no one else has it. I did get a chance to extensively use the EvoRetro controllers yesterday, and I also, as you can see, switched the shells between the black and the atomic green, if you will. Now these are two of my favorite controllers. They look dope. I think they look really cool this way, and I'm glad I switched them. I might do it for the silver and purple controller too, but I don't know. But I did get to use these extensively for a few hours yesterday with a friend of mine, and who I'm playing Smash with again, and he used the purple EvoRetro controller, and he had no issues with the controller yesterday. I had no issues with the controller. All of the buttons felt fine while I was playing. I didn't get like taken out of the experience because I'm like, oh, the stick didn't work correctly, or the buttons didn't feel right, or whatever. Everything worked as intended, and they feel good to use while you're playing. So I definitely think these were definitely a good buy. So I'm gonna let you guys get back to the main video. All right, peace. I'm sure that other people did the same thing. So first thing I'm gonna check is the joystick, because I did see that the joystick on the controller, somebody said that the joystick when they pushed it up, it got stuck, and that's bad. I could probably fix that myself, but that's bad, and it's something that if you don't feel like doing. Okay, that feels good. These are actual, these are actual GameCube controllers, so they do have the I can see in there where the analog input switch is in the back, and it has that deep travel until it clicks all the way at the bottom. You have your clicky Z button up here. Start. The C stick doesn't feel as solid as the PowerA controller. The PowerA controller's C stick feels a lot better in terms of how it moves, but it just has to do its job. So I'm not too mad at that. As long as it doesn't stick and it does its job the way it's supposed to, I'm not mad at it. But the PowerA controller does feel much more smooth. It feels like there's a little grittiness when you move it around, but it's not terrible. The other thing is I saw the buttons, and the buttons looked kind of loose, but they're not as loose as I thought they were. If you look at these buttons are a tiny bit loose, but there has to be some give in there. But I think these buttons are a little looser than these buttons in the buttonhole, but they don't feel bad. I will try these out later and play on them and see how they feel. Is there anything else in the box? No, there's nothing else in the box. Let's see what the other plastic on the other controllers feel like. So they all do feel similar. Let me see. I think the original controller heavier. Yeah, the original controller has it's a little heavier than the this controller, but it could just be the feel of the plastic. But I do think that this controller is a tiny bit heavier than this controller. But for all intents and purposes, everything does feel good on this controller. I definitely feel like I could use this for Smash and not feel like I was, you know, getting gimped or whatever. And that I'm not, you know, and it has the rumble motor in it and everything. So that's the silver. The black controller. Checking the now this has an original like sized D-pad on it, right? Whereas the PowerA's D-pad is a little bit bigger. So let's see if you can see that. That's that. They look almost similar in size, but the original and the retro Evo controller definitely have the smaller, more, you know, stiff D-pad. The PowerA controller improved the size of the D-pad. If you know you're a D-pad person, I don't know why I have this sitting here, but if you're a D-pad person, yeah, that the PowerA D-pad is better. And last but not least, the Indigo controller. This here, the Indigo controller. This is the same color of controller as, well, it's a little slightly a different color. I don't know if you could tell on screen, but this is a little more like bright blue than this one is. This is a little more muted tone of indigo, purple. But yeah, those are the two controllers. Now the PowerA controllers, they're specifically Switch controllers, so they function as Switch controllers. But what they don't have is they don't have amiibo support. I don't think they have like motion control. They don't have motion control or anything. But they do have the L and R, the two L and R buttons up top, which serve as your Z buttons. But when you plug these in and use them, they are seen as regular Pro controllers. So when you're setting your buttons, you'll be setting your buttons for the Pro controller, but not for the GameCube controller. When you plug in these with the adapter, they'll be seen as GameCube controllers in Smash, and so you'll be setting your buttons as GameCube buttons. But the only thing that I would say that the PowerA controllers, or maybe a few things that the PowerA controllers have over using an original GameCube controller, is that you have the two buttons up top. So if you want to use these to play other Switch games, you can use these to play other Switch games if they have, you know, the L and R buttons and they don't have the thing for the Z button up there. And I don't even think some games can run on with regular GameCube controllers. I'm not sure. I've never tried, but I'm sure that you'd be able to use this to play other, you know, GameCube or excuse me, other Switch games on your Switch. So if you want this for all the stuff, or if you want it just for Smash, that could be a deciding factor for you in getting these. But in terms of, you know, talking about should you know, invest your money where you're $60 into a retro Evo bundle, I think this is probably the best value you can have for GameCube controllers if you're looking for GameCube controllers to use for Smash. I think they're worth it. I think they're definitely worth the money. They feel just fine. I mean, they do feel like the buttons, pressing the buttons, you can feel the plastic sliding against the other plastic, but I'm sure with time that will probably dwindle down, especially with a lot of button presses and, you know, a lot of use. They'll get worn down. But I'm sure that these used to feel that way. Like I'm almost sure that I remember the GameCube buttons, at least the triggers, feeling kind of gritty when you press them in. They even still feel a little bit gritty now, where you're feeling like plastic rubbing against plastic, but it's been used so much and so often over the years that they've become like smooth. So it's not as bad. But yeah, I think these controllers are definitely worth the money. The fact that you get 4 controllers and an included adapter. That's one thing I didn't open yet. You get 4 controllers and an included adapter for $62 on Amazon. That's what I paid. You'll find it for cheaper, around the same amount. That's great. But you know, let's plug the original GameCube controller into this, and it fits right in there. That's the original GameCube controller. And then the Retro Evo GameCube controllers, the adapter, the GameCube adapter, two USB ports that are going to get used up on your Switch, on your Switch dock, or on your Wii U, wherever wherever you happen to be playing. It does have a switch on the back for Switch and Wii U and PC. So if you're using it for your computer, you do have to switch that to PC. If you're using it for Wii U or Switch, you switch it over to Wii U, Switch. And it has a turbo button back here. You can set turbos for your buttons. You know, I don't ever use turbo for anything. There's turbo on my sticks and everything, but that's like pretty much a useless button, you know, in the competitive scene. So I mean, if you have any use for turbo and you wanted to turbo your GameCube controllers, it has that back there for you. I've heard the reason that some people use the turbo button is to alleviate, you know, repetitive button pressing in some video games. It's like if it's like a single player game where you have to like mash something a lot, and you know it's tired. You don't want to mash it all the time. You can just set your turbo and then hold the button down if it's something arbitrary that you just have to mash or whatever. But yeah, in competitive games, you don't want to use the turbo. It's just cheating, pretty much. But yeah, I think this is a great bundle. Now I have like 7 GameCube controllers. I have 5 regular GameCube controllers and 2 Switch GameCube controllers. So when I bought this, I was like, I want to buy it, but I need a reason to buy it without just like purchasing it and hoping that it's good. So I was like, even if it's not good, I'm gonna make a video about it and review them and see if, you know, these are worth buying for other people, because I'm sure there are other people that are looking for a more detailed review or more detailed, you know, first impressions on these controllers. So I figured, well, even if I don't like them, at least I'll be able to tell other people about them. So I approve of the controllers. They definitely feel a little more cheap than your regular GameCube controller, but they definitely feel worth the money. I don't feel like I wasted my money on these controllers. And if one of them breaks, you have 3 other ones. But this is probably the biggest selling point for this bundle. This color. This color, without this color, I don't think I would have even bothered buying the bundle. I would have just continued to play with my PowerA controllers. But now I have this one, and I have the adapter, so I'll probably be using this when I'm at home, and I'll be using the PowerA controllers when I'm out, because I do take my Switch to work, and me and a friend play Smash after work sometimes, and I'll be taking that, you know, with me to other places. Maybe I might take this with me on Sunday to my friend's house who's gonna be playing Smash, and have a really cool controller to show off, because, you know, my Smash skills might not do the trick. So at least I'll have something cool to talk about. Like, oh man, your controller was cool. That's a cool color. Where'd you get that from? oh, I got it from Amazon, here's my affiliate link. But like seriously, like these are worth it, you know, if you're looking for some GameCube controllers. All right, peace. Well, that's been the video. I hope you guys found this video about all of these GameCube controllers informative. And if you have any questions, please put them down in the comments. Any comments of support, please put them down in the comments. They always help. If you like the video, please hit the like button. If you disliked it, hit the dislike button. All of that stuff is engagement. It all helps. And if you want to subscribe, please do subscribe to the channel. I appreciate all of the support, and I keep going forward. Hopefully I will be able to be more consistent in the future, but right now it's just really hard because, you know, work. I'm usually exhausted. I don't have a whole lot of time to do the content the way I want to do it, and when I can bring you guys a good video that I think is good enough, I will do that. And you know, if I find anything, you know, more informative about other things that I've bought, which maybe I'll do some other videos about some of the other controllers I have. I don't know. Don't hold me to that. But or if I, you know, have anything to say about some different games or things going on in the gaming space or whatever, I will also do that. If you want to get your hands on these retro Evo controllers or the PowerA controllers, I will put affiliate links down in my description for them. If you do want to get these controllers, please use my affiliate links. It definitely will help out. It's not going to necessarily help this channel directly 100% yet, because, you know, I'm not that big, but all of it helps. Even if you go into my affiliate link and you click on the affiliate link to buy something else, that it helps. Just, you know, using my affiliate links will, you know, assist me, and they will show me that you guys care. So thanks a lot, and come back and watch more of my videos. Peace.